Hello value hunters, today we're revisiting ticker NRDY, NRDY, a company we last covered with a video in mid-September when the stock price was just $1. A lot has happened since then, and in the last 2 months the stock price is up 40%. So let's dive in and see what's been driving this.
This video is for educational and informational purposes only and shouldn't be considered financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions.
Welcome back to Value Hunter Investing. If you're new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and ensures you're the first to see our latest updates and stock analysis. I've been investing with a value focus for around 15 years, making plenty of mistakes along the way and learning a lot, and I hope to share my analysis with you so you don't make the same mistakes. Let's look at some recent events. On November 7th, NRDY reported revenue of $37.5 million for the third quarter. They also highlighted progress in scaling their product offerings and expanding their learner base. NRDY continued to sign partnerships throughout the quarter with various schools, which have made up the majority of their press releases since I made my last NRDY video. And during the third quarter, NRDY enabled access to their Varsity Tutors for Schools platform for an additional 1.1 million students, bringing the total to 4.4 million students on that platform. NRDY reported a non-GAAP adjusted EBITDA loss of $14 million for the third quarter, which was actually better than their guidance range of a loss between $17 million and $19 million. And the CEO and founder, Charles Cohn, continues to buy up stock, showing belief in the future direction of the company. Looking at their latest quarterly report, NRDY reported a $37.5 million revenue for the third quarter, hitting the higher end of their guidance range, which was $35 to $38 million. Although this represents a 7% decrease year over year, it's still solid considering the market's current volatility. Revenue from learning memberships was a significant $31.4 million, highlighting the strength of their core offerings, with around 40,000 active members bolstering this segment. In terms of their institutional segment, they pulled in $5.4 million, which accounts for 14% of their total revenue. 117 of those contracts were executed through the Varsity Tutors for Schools, and that segment in particular is showing some strong growth potential. Bookings for that segment came in at $8.5 million, indicating a solid pipeline for future revenue. It was quite good to see in this institutional section that 32% of paid contracts and 22% of total bookings actually are coming from the school district partners who initially had free access to the platform and now are looking at the paid offerings. Onto the not so great news. So the non-GAAP adjusted EBITDA loss came in at $14 million, as we mentioned before. While the loss is never ideal, it is better than the expected range of 17 to 19 million, showing that NRDY is managing its expenses well. Their gross margin was reported at 70.5%, down slightly from the 72.4% in the same period last year, but still indicating good cost management. In their latest report, NRDY provided guidance for the fourth quarter and full year. So they're expecting adjusted EBITDA in a range of negative $7 million to negative $10 million for the fourth quarter, and for the full year in the range of negative $23 to negative $26 million. And if we switch over to the balance sheet, so the balance sheet showed that they had $65 million cash on hand in the last quarter. And if we have a look at their total liabilities, you're looking at around $38 million of total liabilities. So this can easily be completely covered by the $65 million of cash on hand. So it's a bit of a cushion to manage operations and invest in growth. And while we're here, if you're into stock research, I would recommend checking out this website, Ticker. I use their free plan. It's pretty good for my needs. You can quickly pull up financial statements, valuation metrics, and historical data for thousands of companies worldwide. It's good for tracking insider activity, looking at trends, and comparing companies side by side. They've got a pretty good screener. You can look at earnings transcripts, valuations, estimates. Over to their latest earnings call. One thing that did stand out is the RPM, their average revenue per member. So the average revenue per member was around $302, up 7% from $281 at the end of the second quarter. They did also mention in here that their cost controls were why they had a loss of 14 million, even though they had guided for negative 17 million to 19 million. This was just an improvement on their cost controls, lower sales and marketing spend, and operating efficiency gains. One other thing Jason Pello mentioned, and we had mentioned before, 32% of the paid contracts and 22% of the total bookings came from those school district partners. So the 1.1 million students that were added this quarter, so bringing the total up to 4.4 million, so 32% of the paid contracts and 22% of the total bookings value came from those originally getting the free plan via their schools, and they think that's going to continue into 2025 and beyond. So that shows that that is coming to fruition, which is nice. Jumping over to Open Insider, I think this is what's really been pushing the stock up. This month, the CEO, Charles Cohn, has made a significant insider purchase, acquiring around 8.5 million shares of NRDY stock at prices between 89 cents to $1 per share. And this transaction was completed on November 12th, amounting to a total value of around 7.48 million, and subsequently he's made further purchases, buying up another 3 million or so shares for around $3.7 million. We jump over to the SEC page and have a look at the filing. Just zoom in a bit so it's a bit easier to read here. So we can see the CEO has actually purchased and now owns around 65 million shares, which is 43.5% of the current Class A shares that are outstanding. And the percent of class was based on the current 115 million shares that are available to trade, and there are also 35 million shares of Class B stock. Continuing down, we can also see Alison Cohn has 10 million shares under her name, and that's 8.5% of the Class A shares. So together between the two of them, they actually have more than 50% of the current outstanding Class A shares available. So if we have a look here at all the shares currently available, so we can see 115 million Class A shares, 64 million Class B shares, so around 180 million shares in total, and they have around 75 million of those shares themselves. And this level of ownership just shows a complete alignment with shareholders and faith in the company, and it's the main reason that the shares have jumped nearly 75% from their lows in the last few weeks. So that's where NRDY stands today. What do you think about its performance and future potential? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And before you go, I'm working on an exciting video about a stock that might have multi-bagger potential. The video will be released exclusively to subscribers in about 1 week, with a full public release a week after that. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications for early access. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep hunting for value. It's called Ticker, T-I-K-R. I use their free plan and it's perfect for all my needs. You can go through it, pick it, pull up. Bleh. And before you go, I am working on an exciting video about a stock I think has multi-bagger